Hi. Hi, Ed. Hi, John.
Hi there.
Hello, how are you? There's only 3 of us so far.
We are recording, just so you know. We're a minute or 2 early, but I will be right back.
Oh yeah, it is a minute early.
There you are.
Yeah, that was a terrible picture they put on Facebook for the flooding.
Oh, there's lots of comments about it now.
Good.
I'm sure our emergency management director put it on.
Yeah.
Gene Speck.
That was taken by the video, that crew that I was with, the drone crew. We were out 3 times a day on the videos with the drone crew. It was interesting.
Yeah.
Hello, everyone.
Hey, how are you?
Good. How are you?
Not bad. Hanging in there.
Yeah.
Wait, long way to go yet.
Yeah. Are you up and about at all?
A little bit. Yeah, I've been. I can only sit in the car for less than 20 minutes.
Oh man.
Yeah. Otherwise, my left leg goes completely numb.
Yeah.
So that's not too bad. I mean, I'll get somewhere. Sometime I'll get to the end of this.
Yeah. Are you in a physical therapy?
Oh yeah, I've been doing I do physical therapy 2 days a week.
Uh-huh.
I do home exercises, which they gave me. I'm doing that 4 days a week. So pretty much my whole time is just doing exercises. Yeah. But there's a lot of stuff that hasn't healed, and it's not breaking.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, we have to try the dry needle situation right now to try and loosen that up.
Ooh.
And then after that, it would be steroids to try and break it all up.
Mm.
But yeah, it's taken out my left, the bottom of my left foot is all numb from time to time. It goes numb.
Mm.
And it's all related to those hamstring muscles.
Oh.
And then on top of that, I had the surgery rotator cuff replacement. That was part of the same accident. So
Goodness. How's the
rotator
cuff healing?
No, it's not actually. It's really tight, and but we did the surgery for the rotator cuff about a month after we completed the surgery on the hamstrings. So I think maybe it was too close together, and the body took on too much to heal at one time.
Yeah.
And so who knows? But I'm working through it, and I haven't had any vaccines yet, because the doctors don't want me to take it until I'm pretty much cured, healed. So
yeah.
But other than that, and the weather, I am a barometer for weather. I can tell you what the weather's going to be the next couple of days if you want. It's been painful. My gosh. And now I know my sister has arthritis in her fingers, and then I know what she goes through now. God bless her. God bless her.
All right. So we can call this meeting to order at 7:04. Can I have a motion to elevate the alternates, please?
I make a motion that would elevate the alternates.
Second?
Second.
Is that Kate?
Life.
Oh, Blythe, sorry.
Are you taking notes, Lynn?
No, I'm just
Okay. Yeah, I
It's
got
being
it.
doing my
recorded.
own thing.
Okay.
It's being recorded, so you can play it back.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I know.
Okay.
Acceptance of the agenda. We have a few things to add to it. So in addition to the June 2nd minutes, we also need to approve the June 17th minutes, or I'm sorry, June 21st and May 17th minutes. Add that on there. And we also need to add a new business. C is Camp Kent at the club.
Lynn, I should also point out that in number 10.
Yeah, I know. We'll get there.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah.
What was it? Number 10? What?
It's got the wrong date for the next meeting.
I forgot to change the date on the template.
That's fine. Don't worry. That's minor. That's minor.
Lynn, I don't think, maybe we should add something about soccer. I don't think we have a soccer on here. Unless I'm missing it, but.
Yeah, there's nothing else to put it under. That's what I was looking at. Okay, so we can add that on old business.
I feel silly even mentioning this, but my name, when you wrote out the names of the people who voted, in which happened in 2 instances in the minutes, my name wasn't listed. I don't know how much that matters, but I'm not taking it personally. I just thought maybe for.
No, that's, yeah, I'll make sure that gets fixed. Sorry about that.
Don't worry about it.
Okay, anything else?
There's May in 2 instances.
Anything else to add to the agenda?
Oh, sorry.
I'm sorry, Lynn, where were you adding the soccer?
On letter O, on
Letter
old business.
Old business, you said?
OP, yeah, making sure I have the right letter that comes after N.
Okay.
Okay, so can I have a motion to accept the agenda as amended?
Oh, did we change the date, or do we need to do that? Or does that not matter?
We can, yeah, doesn't, I mean, it's not a big deal, but yeah, we can put that in there as amended.
Mm-hmm.
Move to approve the agenda as amended.
Okay, second, please.
Second, John.
Okay, thank you. All those in favor say aye.
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 Correspondence. Oh, I'm sorry, I skipped minutes. Approval of the minutes of June 2nd, June 21st, and May 17th. June 2nd was a special meeting.
We need to go in order.
You can do them all together, unless you have an issue with one. Or if you have any questions on them, then we can do them separately.
So for protocol, should we amend the ones that Kate mentioned she was not mentioned? Should I add her to that, or does it?
Yeah, is everybody else listed separately, or what? I'm not.
Yeah, there were a couple where we had a nay vote. I think I listed people who voted yes and no.
It happened twice. Yeah.
Okay.
It's
in the same one or two separate?
No,
meetings?
two separate ones. There was definitely in the May. I think the May. I can't remember which June one it was, but.
Okay.
Any other changes to the minutes? We can do a motion. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay.
You go.
Make a motion we accept the minutes as changed.
And a second.
Second.
Thank you, Blythe. All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? Thank you. So Abigail's, hang on. Kate, you wanted to be my eyes here. Trying to get Abigail in, it's not working. All right. I can't get her in. Bear with me. I should be able to. You know why? Because I'm an idiot and it's not touch screen. I'm on my laptop. I keep doing that. Okay. Correspondence. Do you have any correspondence?
Yes. Okay, so let's see. I'm just gonna go in order of date. So the first one I had was somebody who had reached out with an email. And they have a company called Personal Euphoria, and they do virtual fall sessions, like fitness classes, different types of fitness classes. And you can people can register independently and these are virtual, so they would kind of individually, or, you know, if we, which is maybe a future thing, but if we were interested in doing something like this and we could get the technology needed, we could hold, you know, a group virtual fitness class, you know, if we can't find instructors in town or something like that. But anyway, this is just an email I had gotten. They run 11-week programs, 12-week programs, and you pay one flat amount for those, and you can just join as you see, as you want, to these different classes. So that was one email. Another one, I got an email from Jeanette Ireland, who reached out to me. She's a new coordinator in New Milford. And she's coordinating senior programming. And she reached out to me and she wanted to let us know that a lot of the things, programming and events that they do are open to all seniors in the area. And encouraged, you know, us if we wanted to put that out there to our seniors, to market that they would be welcome if they can find transportation down there. So that was another email. And then I got an email. I'm not gonna say the name because it's kind of confidential information, but he had asked, he was interested in having his son do the Slamma Jamma basketball camp, but he expressed that they were financially not able to do so. And he was asking me about if there was anything we could do as far as scholarship or something like that. So I think it's on the agenda. Maybe we discuss that a little bit more when we get down there. And then I got I just got an email from Catherine Bacharach, who is involved with the Kent Community Fund, but she,
She would be the one to do that for you. For that kid.
Yes, this is unrelated to that though. She emailed me because she is active in gardening, and she had some, and I don't know why I cannot find it right now. Still, here it is. She says, let's talk sometime about the Memorial Garden in Commons Park. I don't know who cares for it and if you are a hands-on gardener, but I work on the flower beds at Templeton Farm. There is a bed there along Swift Lane going back to the park that will need to be thinned out drastically in the early fall, and we could pass on a bunch of plants if you wanted them. I'm sure I could use the Garden Club network to get rid of them if we can't use them. But anyway, I just wanted to pass it along to you guys.
Was she referring to the memorial garden that's there?
Yeah, in Kent Commons Park.
Okay.
Can you say that again, what she said about the garden, that they would be willing to?
Let's talk sometime about Memorial Garden at Commons Park. She just says, you know, she doesn't know who cares for it. It's your hands-on gardener, but I work on the flower beds at Templeton Farm. Basically saying that they're going to thin out their beds at Templeton Farm.
Oh, okay. If we need some.
And they'll have extra plants if we want them.
Okay, I get it.
So, yeah.
So going back to the Slamma Jamma Camp person, I would direct them to the community fund and Leah. Because there's funding available. Isn't there funding? Well, it's for camp. There's funding available for camps, but I'm not sure how.
Yeah, so I think that the community fund gave a pot of money to Leah for her to use for families looking for other options around. So I will definitely reach out to her tomorrow.
Okay. And you want to talk about the table at the concerts?
Okay, yeah, so I got an email from one of the Parks and Rec director up in Sharon, and he is involved in the Northwest Suicide Prevention Network. And he had reached out asking if we would be interested in putting a table out at the concert so they could get their information out there. So I had emailed Connie, who with the Land Trust. And then I also copied Lynn on it, just kind of throwing it out there to them. And Connie kind of said she didn't really think it was quite the right venue just because of logistically how people park the cars and then they walk in and everybody's really spread out. And she didn't think people would get up and walk around and specifically go to a table. So that's kind of where it got left off. And then Connie had suggested a couple other events that they might do something at here in town. I think the sidewalk sales and the October, the run in October.
Run.
Yeah, so that's that.
So yeah, if we say yes to one, it kind of opens up a can of worms. We can't pick and choose. That wouldn't be fair. On the other hand, if that's ever something we wanted to discuss to make it a little bit more festival-y or whatever, or even have a festival day in the summer where you have 4 or 5 bands come and play all day, and then you have tables and setup or things like that. But that would be a whole nother discussion for another time. At this point, I don't think it's a good idea to let one table in, because like we said, then we have to let others in.
I agree.
I'd love to follow up and learn more about what other programming they're involved with, because it might be great to partner with them in the future, however we decide to do it. Probably not the best venue with the concert series, but anything we can do to, make sure people know there's resources and enable ourselves to be attached to that, I think it would be good for the community. So maybe, I don't remember his name, Matthew, is that the Parks and Rec director?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
He can offer us some ideas for the ways in which Sharon's partnered with this group, and we can try to follow suit, or at least learn.
Yeah, it was not something you want to turn down, but it doesn't work with us, I don't think, at this time.
Do we have a wellness resources part of the website? Just wellness resources in town?
Part of Park and Rec website?
I don't know, either ours or just the town's. Maybe that's a way to start. I don't know.
Yeah, no, I don't know. It's a good question. I know not on our website, but I haven't poked around enough in depth on the in-town website.
Maybe we should try and just give that to the ambulance fire department.
Yeah, I can see it being a good,
Services,
you know,
or Leah's.
preventive.
I didn't hear what anybody said. I'm sorry.
Both breaking up. Okay, anything else in correspondence?
I just want to follow up on Blythe's point about wellness and about our website. At one point, we discussed collecting ideas for different ways to use the parks on a seasonal, season by season. I know that's sort of fallen off to the wayside, but I'd love to try to put together a Google Doc and have that on the website so people know, like you can cross-country ski at Emery Park. Because I just think like health and wellness in general would be great for the community. And John, I know that you've talked about that in the past as well.
A good way to promote our parks.
And even things like that, those senior events in New Milford would seem to, you could advertise those kinds of things, like just what's around, what's coming up, things that we heard about or knew about, or just resources like if you're feeling depressed, you can, here's a hotline number or something like that. I don't know.
We could, speaking of the seniors too, again, back to that one, we could possibly, if we had a good amount, rent a vehicle to transport them.
Yeah, that's what I was wondering, if that was an option, and yeah, how we could go about doing that.
One of the things that was done before was a van or a small bus was rented, and the seniors once a month went to a museum or the casino or whatever. So we haven't done that. So that's a possibility.
The other thing too, you can always touch base with Warren. Warren has all these events going on for seniors as well. They travel all around the states.
Yeah. I think Leah was telling me they do a lot of nice trips, and that. Oh yeah,
beautiful trip. Yeah.
Very, very welcoming to other towns.
Yeah, I mean, they should, we could partner up with them. I mean, we'd be fantastic. I mean, if we give them the information and they buy the tickets up in Warren, it'd be fantastic.
Do we want to discuss the fitness class? Can you tell more? Do you have a list of the programs they're offering?
Yeah, and I'm happy to send the brochure that she had sent me out. Let's see. Hold on a second.
Okay, you can send that out. We'll put that on the agenda for next month.
Okay.
I think it's a good idea. Any way to encourage community via fitness, like any threads or leads we have on that would be great.
Yeah, I think, it might be, we would probably want to get some sort of, like, I don't know if the town already has a projector and screen, but that would be, if we want to do something like that, we're probably going to need some kind of setup like that.
I think the fire department has one, right, Ed?
The town does too.
Okay, that's what I thought.
So we'll talk more about that next month when we have information on it. Okay.
Just to clarify, Miranda, did you have that information ahead of the meeting? I don't understand what happened with the packet that you prepared for last meeting. It was so clear and had, questions that you wanted us to think through and implications. Is that something?
Yeah, I had some more information on it. Yeah, I can certainly put those kind of packets together. I'm just not getting a clear. There's some not a consensus on what needs to happen for the sending things out to the board.
I got this.
I'm sorry, the commission.
From the commission from last month that everybody really appreciated the package you put together for us. It really made us be able to be prepared for the meeting, and it was really clear, and everything was in one email. So we didn't have to go searching through multiple emails or multiple documents to try to track through the meeting. I know it was echoed in the emails and it was echoed in the meeting. So I don't know if that's something we have to formally make a decision about, but I know it was something that really helped it was like so refreshing and not something we've ever had, and very helpful. And I was like excited because I thought it was something that was tied to you coming into this position.
So I'm going to say this and then we're going to move on. Miranda has been busy with 20 hours. This is why I didn't want the job to be 20 hours. One thing I can take off her plate is the agenda, because it's the chairman's agenda. So that's what I'm doing at this time. When we get a full-time director, whether that's Miranda or someone else, we will work with that. The other problem with that is when the member of the public goes to look at our stuff, they do not see it labeled. They have to look through that whole long list to see what they're looking, to find what they're looking for. If it's listed separately, they can just simply click on it because it has a title.
So like when we go to post it on the website, I'm happy to post separate pieces of.
It's going to be the same.
So Lynn, I'm curious, if we are a commission and we make these decisions together, I don't understand how this all works, because did you make that decision?
No, it's in the bylaws and the Constitution that it's the chairman's agenda.
And up until this point, Leslie was making the agendas, correct?
No, Leslie and I worked together on it. Leslie was also doing it for 23 years. So she would send it to me for review, and I would add or subtract or change or whatever needed to be done. Then I would send it back to her, and then she would send it to Darlene to be warned. Miranda is brand new. She's doing a great job, but she doesn't know Kent Park and Rec. She doesn't know Kent. So I'm trying to give her a little relief here, because she's mentioned to me numerous times and said in meetings that she is not able to get everything done that she wants to get done in the 20 hours. So one thing, like I said, that I can take off her plate is the agenda, because it is the chairman's agenda. So that's what we're doing for now. That's what I'm doing for now. Next on the agenda is public and invited guests. I don't see that we have any.
Agendas, Lynn, can you also query us what we would like to have on the agenda?
If there's something you want to have on the agenda, then you are welcome to send that to me and we can add it on there, or you can also add it on at the meeting. It's better to do it beforehand, because that's the whole reason for warning a meeting. You know, the Zoom meetings are supposed to be 48 hours. It used to be 24 hours for regular stuff. But it can be added on the night of the meeting, as long as it's a monthly meeting and not a special meeting. But the only problem with that is that the public doesn't have a chance to see that, doesn't know that it's being discussed that night. So it happens. That happened quite a bit today. You know, I forgot some stuff. Again, Leslie would do it up of 23 years of experience and send it to me. And many times there wasn't any changes. Sometimes there was.
For the sake of the commission, could we maybe say that the Wednesday before the meeting, if you have agenda items that you want to add, that we send them to you and you could, you know, remind us?
I would
a little bit more efficient, particularly for the town, because I think that there's lots of topics that I hear all the time that people want us to discuss. And then, you know,
that's always been the rule, Abigail. You can add on to the agenda at any time, you know, at any meeting, before the agenda is approved, or before, like I would, you know, that's not the best way to do it, but you can also do it quicker. I would not do it the Wednesday before. I would do it minimum the Friday before. The agenda should be going out earlier than it has been, and that's because we've been thrown into a tizzy turmoil here and trying to get things done. So absolutely, if you have something that wants to go on the agenda, any one of you can add it to have it added.
Great. Could somebody send a reminder out then on Fridays, the week before the meeting? Is that something that Miranda can do? Can we give her permission so that we have a reminder? I think that this group of people is very busy, so it'd be wonderful to have a reminder. Hey, if you have any agenda items you want to add to the meeting, please do it. And then I think we can get a little bit more participation from the commission.
I'm happy to do that. But yeah,
Awesome.
I will definitely do that Friday before.
I would send it out a week and a half before, and Friday is the deadline. We should have the agenda out by Friday or the Monday before the meeting.
I mean, that seems like a long time before the meeting. I'm just going to say it.
We've done this for 25 years. I don't see what
Yeah, well, I just think that just because you've done something for 25 years doesn't mean that's, I mean, maybe it is the right way, maybe it isn't, but that's, for a commission that's meeting once a month, that's a long time before the meeting, because then you're just adding a bunch of stuff that comes up.
We've never had this issue before. Again, we're both learning, we're all learning. But I don't think it's fair that the commission has over the weekend to learn it, to be able to look at all the documents, I think. And like I've told you, I'm not always on the email. I'm doing it, so I'm going to know it, but.
So maybe the reminder could come out in the week prior to the week of the meeting so that it could be on the agenda, and then anything else that's last minute between then and the meeting could be added at the meeting itself. Let's push the reminder a little earlier, that's all.
I think that's a great idea, Blythe. Just like for us to all have a reminder, then we're all going to get our heads back in the fact that the meeting's coming, any agenda items, anything we want to make sure people are thinking about or want them to think about, we can plant the seed, and then we can make the most of our time together when we're here.
Can we move on now? Director's report.
Okay, so yeah, I just wanted to, I sent an email in our last meeting. We talked about the STEEP program it's a grant program that I think ran last year through Connecticut. And John had brought it up. And so I went ahead and emailed someone with Connecticut with the program, and he sent me an email back and clarified that it's not something that runs every year. It's just based on when they sell bonds, is the impression I got from the email. And so it's not currently running, and it's just kind of a random thing. Whenever the governor decides to do that is when it happens. So unfortunately, it's not available to us at this time. I emailed the regional directors about the status of the travel soccer league this year. So it was communicated to me that the meeting would be set up in July. And actually I just followed up because they said we were going to set something up in July. And I hadn't heard, so I followed up, and we're going to meet tomorrow. So I should know more about that program tomorrow.
Great.
So the after school program, I wrapped up sending out all the final statements, all the families. Money is still trickling in. I've had some families that have not paid yet. I sent a reminder email, and I've communicated to the treasurer the families that have not paid their final balance, so that she can make that clear in her financial reports that money is still going to be coming in after the end of the fiscal year. So that is that. Budgets, I received the approved 2021-22 budget, and so that's attached to the meeting documents. Don't have anything new for the 5-year capital plan. But that's also, the capital plan is also attached to the budget document, so we can take a look at it. For the fencing at Emory and Kent Commons Park, unfortunately, the last correspondence I received for the schedule, he said, as stated prior to the contract signing, we are booked out approximately 3 to 4 months from receiving deposit, which was June 21st. So it's going to be a while. So we ran the tennis clinic, and I guess maybe we'll let Michael, and is Julia on here? I don't know.
Yeah.
No, she just left for 10 minutes.
Okay.
But we have that on the agenda.
Okay. Well, they can kind of give you a rundown, but it went pretty well. So Slamma Jamma, I've been promoting it. Last time I just talked to them today, actually, and we've got 21 kids so far. So that's great. We've got another week to get some more people in there. So that's good. I mean, maybe we can talk a little bit more there. So it's posted on our website, on the Facebook page, and I think the community Facebook page shared it as well. I also, the school KCS sent it out to all the applicable families. And I think we got a bunch of people from that, so that was good. And I did put up some flyers too. So the summer concert series has been going well. The last concert on the 15th was very well attended. And yeah, it went well. The band was great. Yeah, I think they got a lot of donations to the food bank, so that was good. And then looking ahead, there's some days off that I was just going to run by you guys. The week of the 26th, just kind of changes the schedule. I don't know if we want to talk about that in detail. I would just be off Tuesday and Wednesday and working probably Monday, Thursday, and Friday, fuller days to meet those hours. And then the week of August 2nd, off on Monday, and then on the 6th, and then working, those other days, however many hours I need to get to the 20. And then I wanted to talk about possibly working remotely for 2 weeks in August. We would like to travel back to Michigan if possible. So I don't know, maybe we can discuss that. I've got, I have a laptop, so it's possible, very, very possible for me to do that. And it probably wouldn't work the full 20 hours for those 2 weeks, but as much as needed to do whatever needs to be done. And then I probably would need to remote in for that meeting.
I think the only concern with the remote work would be the degree to which your time in the office, people drop in to talk to you. And I don't know if that's become a normative thing yet, and you've experienced a lot of drop-ins.
Yeah, I mean, I have on occasion. It's not super frequent. And, I think that as far as people who drop in for our rec pass, things like that, we could easily, I think someone could handle doing that in the office. I think Jean said, if ever someone else needs to do that, if I'm not available, they can do that. They just, give them the information to do that. So,
I don't recall ever having to approve Leslie's requested vacation, and you certainly
we do.
deserve vacation. So
Yes, we did.
you did.
Yeah. Well, if her time off was near a meeting, she waited, but otherwise she had the first selectman would sign off on it. So, but Miranda's not a salaried person with vacation time, so I don't know if that works the same.
I think because she's a contract worker at this point, and it's a 20-hour-a-week expectation. Other than the posted office hours, I think you were spreading your 20 hours however you needed to. So I don't see why, being unavailable for a few days would change why that would be an issue. It's I think the working remotely for the 2 weeks, if that would, the only issue I could see there is if people were planning on dropping into those 2 weeks, we would have to just be sure that we communicate that nobody's available at the office while you're remote.
Yeah, and I can have Darlene update the hours or just show that there's no one in on the website. And then obviously I'll set up, an email out of office and do that.
I don't know if we need to vote on that or approve it. We might as well, like I said before, it's better to have it than not. So somebody want to make a motion for her, please?
I'd like to make a motion to approve Miranda's requested vacation time, providing notice is given to the community.
Second?
I second that.
Is that Abigail?
Yes, sorry, I'm not on video.
That's okay, you're fine. Your picture's not showing anyway on my computer. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye, please.
Aye.
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 Any opposed? Thank you.
Sorry, would you remind me of the dates, Miranda, that you're going to be a remote?
9th through the 20th.
August 9th through the 20th. Okay, got it. Thanks.
So I don't have much else for the director's report. I think the Slamma Jamma basketball camp is going to be running July 26th through the 30th. And we've already got the 20 registrants, so it should be running now. And then the next concert is July 22nd, start this Thursday. So
great.
Weather permitting, obviously.
Any other questions for Miranda? I'm sorry, were you done?
I was just saying great news about Slamma Jamma.
Yeah.
Yeah, exciting.
Always does very well. Okay, so on to old business, Park and Rec director search. As we discussed, we're going to make up a committee of 5 people. The only thing is that when I was on the selectmen's meeting the other day, I forgot to ask them to disband it. And did it get disbanded, Ed? You guys didn't do it? Did. Okay, I was thinking.
Yes, it is.
Okay, so we need to set up a subcommittee for the director's search. So Ed, we're going to start with you. Are you volunteering?
Yeah, I don't mind.
Okay. I believe
is Julia
John.
Julia, are you here? Can we wait until Julia is back on the meeting to discuss this? Because I know that she was involved with the last one and she had been asking questions about it. So I don't want her to miss this part.
Okay. Let me know if you see her waiting to come in. If I don't see it. Oh, she
says
she's still in. Yeah, she just walked away from the computer. She didn't leave the meeting. Okay, so we'll come back to that.
And okay, great.
I'm sorry?
No, I'm
okay.
just talking, nothing.
So we can move down to C, parks projects, pool opening, seasonal worker, kind of just keeping all that stuff on there. So as for the pool, it got filled, but the aerator didn't get in, so the water's nasty. We got to get the aerator in there and get that working. If hopefully that will take care of the problem. Ed went down and fixed the gate for the most part. Was there anything else on the gate that needed to be fixed, Ed?
Well, there's one is a little loose. I've got to take a come along down and pull it together when they went through. The Rick never patched the holes on the road going down the emergency access road that he said he would do. The water is real bad. I don't know if we can get that cleaned up without major chlorine.
I don't think we can do that.
And the sand is pretty disgusting too, because now there's all kinds of stuff growing out of the sand. It's a mess.
It grew so quickly with all this rain and heat and humidity. The stuff just grew and grew and grew.
Yep.
I looked at it a week ago and there was green patches on it.
Well, now it's totally green, just about.
You have to pay attention to that. Okay. Anything else on parks projects?
Sorry, so what's our plan at this point? What's our plan for that pool? We're just gonna.
Well, so I had said that David.
I mean, in the near term. I don't mean in the long-term planning. I just.
Yep, for this year, David unfortunately was not able to loan us some lifeguards because he didn't have enough. And he was going to run a class for some of his kids, his employees, and then run the class for the public that we had worked on.
Right.
But instead of doing both, he decided to wait. So he had, I think, 4 or 5 of his employees doing the class, and we ended up having 1, 2, 3, 4, 8 actually. People from the public, from our ads and everything, the ad that I put out, to take the lifeguard class. So that was really awesome. One person was just a research, so there's no chance of getting her to work. But at this point, they should be done with the class at the end of this week. And I've put the word out a little bit, but that's one of the things, which is next on the list, is the lifeguard instructor class. And I guess we'll just kind of throw these 2 things together. I'm hoping.
I mean, I've been down there too. I mean, nobody's going to be swimming in that pool.
Absolutely not the way it is.
Soon.
I mean, like I said, the aerator should have gotten in there, and if we can skim the top and maybe get the aerator in there immediately, and I don't know, it's got to be cleaned out either way. I'm still trying. I'm still trying to get it open. It's still going to be hot in the end of August and September. If we can even hire so my idea was, and we kind of discussed this before, if we can hire some of the kids that are taking the lifeguard class now, and maybe, I guess what we discussed before was paying for their class fee if they come to work for us. So either as an incentive or as a bonus later on, like after the 4th week or the 6th week, or, something like that, reimbursing them for their class if they came to work for us. I couldn't put that out with the ad to, help the kids make it, give them a heads up because we hadn't voted on it. So I would like to do that now or have discussion. We can get a motion going and then discuss. But
can I just ask, when does the program start?
The lifeguard instruction class?
Yes.
It has already started. It started last Tuesday. So they did Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. It's a total of 36 hours, and it looks like they're doing 3.5 to 4 hours a night. But the 36 hours is a guideline. So if they can get the whole curriculum done sooner, then they're done sooner. But it depends on how long it takes to get through the curriculum. So they could be done the end of this week. That would be Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, or the beginning of next week. They could be getting their certificates. I'm not sure exactly how that works.
And how much is the program?
$125, which normally this class runs $350 to $500, but David just really wanted to help us and the town, and Red Cross didn't run any classes, I believe, this year or last year, obviously. So he was just really doing it to help everybody out.
And you're like 100% positive, or I guess how positive are you once there's an aerator in the pool that the pool's going to be swimmable? Or Ed, I guess John, you all know this pool pretty well, and I'm asking this question because Lynn, you're putting a lot of energy into making this happen, which is incredible, and I just would hate for you to put all this energy in us to get these lifeguards lined up and this still be a place that people aren't going to use.
So I think we need to attend to the pool immediately. We can't let it get any worse. I'm not a pool person. I don't know much about them. So Ed's saying maybe not at all, but.
Well, do we have a pool person who usually does anything to it during the year anyway? Like last year.
The lifeguards, last year, I'm guessing Leslie went in and put the aerator in and out, if that's what happened, or maybe we didn't even fill the pool last year. So it was just cleaned and left empty. But normally Leslie and the lifeguards put the aerator in and take the aerator out at night take it out when they get there and put it back in at night is what I believe. I think that's what Ricky said.
But no one adds anything to the water at all? We can't
do chlorine because it's the brook. But if there was some sort of natural cleaner, like a vinegar maybe.
Yeah.
There's an awful lot of there's awful lot of animals enjoying that pool. I mean, it's a pretty well populated pool, just not by humans. And I mean, there's a little work to be done. So I don't know. I feel like I think lifeguards are great, but I'm just a little there's
always critters in the pool. There probably is more now because we haven't been there. It's not being used.
Yeah.
I talked to Miranda about maybe somehow, Ed, you have more experience in this and for longer, somehow putting better fencing or more solid or something along the bottom. So to keep some of them out, maybe, like not chicken wire because snakes and frogs can still get through there, but something more solid along the whole bottom of the fence. Would that help? How are they getting in there? Are they coming right through the filter?
Well, there's a lot of things living in there. I mean, they're not coming through the fence. They're just hanging out.
Yeah, they gotta go.
I mean,
I think it's going to be hard to prevent critters from getting in.
Amen. Absolutely. I'm just wondering, how invite, again, and I would defer to people who know better. I just making it as inviting as possible. And maybe it's just something everybody's used to, is it's not necessarily a pool as much as a pond. And that's all.
I would say if you're talking critters like snakes and frogs, is that what you mean?
I would imagine snakes and frogs and fish and all sorts of things. I mean,
I didn't know if you saw something else. If you went down there and saw something else. So the snakes and frogs have been coming into Emery Park since the day it was built. And that is an old Kent kids joke about the frogs and the snakes. But the counselors and the lifeguards, if there's camp counselors there, will keep the kids away and they'll take the critter out and go put it back out in the woods. Doesn't happen a lot, not so much with the snakes. There's frogs come in more, and it'd be nice to actually, you know, if the frogs come in, to, instead of saying, no, 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 you can't touch them, turn it into a little lesson. You know, maybe that's when the counselor gets up off the blanket and comes over and says, teaches, you know, just shows the kids, and so they're not afraid of it. There's some kids who don't want to touch frogs.
I swim in a pond myself when that's fine. I just didn't know how much work needed to be done to this particular swimming option in order for it to be user friendly for the town. That's all.
Lynn, do we have the aerator?
Yes.
So it seems to me that step one is, let's figure out how well / quickly we could get this to a swimmable state, and if that's even, you know, possible. The you know, clearing out of the stuff, the frogs and stuff. My kids used to love to try to catch the frogs and stuff. So
again, that's been forever.
It's, to me, it seems like, you know, decisions about lifeguards come once we know if we have a swimmable area. And then, you know, what do you do about sand? You know, do you just rake the sand? Do we need to truck in some sand? Like, a lot of these decisions kind of come from how quickly can we clean up can we see how clean we can get the water, or how clear we can get the water. We can get that green scum off the top. We get the aerator in there going for a couple of days and then see where we are. I think we'd be in better shape to make some decisions to maybe open the pool, you know, in at least by August. But to me, that's step one. So get that in there.
And I guess I think there's two parts to this too. One is the swimmability of the pool for sure. And then whether or not we actually have people who will be lifeguards on a regular basis so that people can use the pool. Because that's the other issue that's been, I know you're dealing with the lifeguard issue, but just like, are we going to be able to have, you know, 9 to 6, 7 days a week, or is it not going to be that? Because then again, to what degree is this worth offering to the public if it's not really available on the weekends or when the public would want to use it?
We've probably saved enough that we would usually have paid to lifeguards by now to consider picking up those, you know, that fee for that class, which that's a ridiculously terrific cost. If we could pick it up for 3 of those graduates, 2 or 3 of those graduates, and at least get, you know, get some hours, some potential hours, to me, that's a great use of resources.
I agree with you, Blythe.
So would someone like to make a motion to that effect and allow me to bring that up at one of the lifeguard meetings so these kids can think about it? And contingent, they will know that it's contingent upon us getting the pool ready.
Sure, I'll make a motion that the Parks and Rec would cover the cost of the lifeguard training, which is $125 for the lifeguards that sign up to work at Emery Park during the summer of 2021.
Can I have a second, please?
Second.
So, any discussion?
I'm sorry, who was the second?
I think it might have been, I think Julie, maybe it was,
It can be Blythe. I did too.
Okay.
Blythe seconded.
In a discussion, I would like to say, do we want to do that as a sign-on bonus or after they're with us for a certain amount of weeks?
I would say at the end of the season, but that would be my.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to give up, you know, give them $125 and have them leave in a week.
Right, exactly.
So if they can commit to, you know, at least a month.
6 weeks.
6 weeks.
6 weeks sounds like a good, you know, that would be a nice season if we could get a 6-week season out of the pool.
Yep.
6 weeks or the end of the season, whatever comes first.
Yeah.
The quickest way to get this pool back up and running is to drain it. Have Billy spray it down again and then fill it. That would take probably 2 weeks if he's not busy. And that'll bring you into August. Something to think about. It'd be the quickest way to do it.
I can ask Billy how busy he is and what he thinks about that.
Yeah, I mean, he's probably doing a lot of, he's not doing any hay, so he's probably available. And now's a good time to ask him after all that rain.
What does he spray the walls down with, John?
What?
What does he spray the walls down with?
Just regular water.
Oh, just pressure hose.
Water, that's all.
Well, actually, the walls don't look bad at all. It's the water and the top of the water that's pretty nasty,
yeah, because
right?
The best way to get rid of it is just to flush it out and let it run down. That's all. And this way you don't have to worry about it. And then once it's up and running, it's filled up again, we can put the filter back in right away and then come back in 48 hours and test it and give it to the state of Connecticut. See how it came out.
Do we have to submit a water quality test to the state before you open?
She usually comes around and checks it. The health inspector.
I believe so, yes.
She's around every Tuesday, I think.
Still have a motion on the floor. It will need to be amended to add the 6 weeks or end of the season. We still need to make that regardless of what we do with the pools. Number one, it's open. It's an open motion. And number two, if whatever way we decide to get the pool open, we'll have this already in line.
Sure, so I'll amend my motion that the offer from the Parks and Rec is I'm sorry, I'm tired, but it's contingent on the lifeguard staying with us for 6 weeks or till the end of the season, whichever comes first.
And that second was Blythe?
Yeah, second.
Okay, all those or any more discussion?
Other than good catch, Lynn.
All those in favor, say aye, please.
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Any opposed? All right, thank you. I'll reach out to Billy, see what he thinks. Ed, do you have any time to meet me up there one evening? And Miranda, question to you, did you order the thingy? And when will that be here?
I don't know, I have to look, but it is on its way.
Okay, great. I'm sorry, Ed, how was your evenings?
Yeah, up there, but there's no hurry to meet you up there to get the aerator and if you're going to drain the water out.
I don't want to drain the water. If it comes to that, yes, but because like John said, that'll be, by the time we got Billy up there, I think we should try this way. And if it doesn't work, then we drain it and get Billy back up there if we need him, or just drain it and refill it without Billy.
Yeah, especially if you get a dry spell, you won't get the water to fill the pool back up.
Dry spell.
Well, summer. My goodness.
All right, I will talk to you. And and we'll figure something out to get up there as soon as possible.
Oh, hey, one second, Lynn. Before we leave Imran Park, did we ever come up with the AED device? Miranda,
I asked around. I have not seen it.
Don't tell me that.
So we might want to look out. Look in the shed, or the.
Well, no, she usually takes it back and puts it in town hall. I don't know why she would have done something different than a regular pattern.
Yeah, I don't know. I haven't seen it. I asked around. No one really knew anything.
Who usually did that? Leslie?
Yeah, she would take it out in the fall and bring it into town hall and leave it at town hall.
Has anybody reached out to Leslie to see if she recalls doing that? I mean, it would have been 2 years ago at this point.
Jean might know how to reach her.
It's worth a try.
Did you ever, Miranda, did you ever go down to in the community house? There's a basement in there. Did you ever, we have a locker room down there. Have you ever been in?
I have not.
Can you ask them to give you the key for that, the town hall? There's a lot of stuff that's sports related stuff that belongs to us in there. And I think at one time she used to start, she used to have the aerator down there as well for the fall and winter.
Okay.
All right, so there's a big storage room down there, and it'll be like Christmas for you when you see all the stuff that's.
I don't know if it's Christmas.
Yeah, I don't know. It's like Christmas in the attic too.
Yes, did you see that?
Yeah.
Jesus.
That room will eventually need to be cleaned out and straightened up.
Yeah, there's a gold mine in there.
Perfect task for a Marblewood Community Service Wednesday. Anybody?
There you go. There you go.
Okay.
Is perfect.
All right. Is Julia back with us?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay. So let's go back up to the director search and the hiring subcommittee. So Abigail asked that we wait till you get back. So we're going back to it.
Thanks. Sorry about
that. So we're going to change to a 5-person subcommittee. Ed will be on it as our ex officio member. John, do you want to be on it again?
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I know you did. I was talking to Julia.
Yes, I'll be on it again.
Okay. So the idea would be 3 commissioners, Ed, and a member of the public. So I would also volunteer to be on there. So it would be me, John, and Julia, and Ed, and we need to find 1 member of the public. My son said he'll do it.
Was that for real, or are we going to ask the public? I don't know how this all works. Was that a joke or was that for real?
That was a joke. He's 13.
Okay. Well, I thought you had a number of sons.
Do they have to be a resident of Kent, or could they be just a member of our community? Mrs. Saunders, the PE teacher at school, her son did the tennis clinic and she was asking about the search, and I know reads our minutes and stuff like that. Maybe she'd be an idea of someone, but I know she lives in Warren.
I personally don't have a problem with that. Is anybody else? I probably should be a member of the a Kent, resident of Kent.
Yeah.
But Marcy does know Kent and the kids, and she definitely would have, the experience of
good feedback.
Sports end anyway.
Yeah.
Great idea.
Do you want to check with her, Julia, or would you like me or Miranda to reach out to her?
You guys can reach out to her. Maybe that's better.
Okay.
More official.
It'd be great to have Marcy.
Miranda, do you know her?
Yep.
Okay. Would you like to do it, or do you want me to do it?
Whatever you're comfortable with, Lynn.
I could volunteer to do it as well.
Pardon me?
I said I could volunteer to do it as well.
I can I'll just send her a quick email. Is that Everybody good with that?
If we're looking for recommendations for, there's another woman, Lara Hansen, who has been very vocal about programming, particularly programming for under 10. She's really passionate about sports and she lives in town. She may be somebody else, depending on Marcy's interest, or maybe we reach out to both of them and see who gets back to us. If you'd like her contact information, Lynn, I'd be happy to share it.
Yeah, or reach out to her and see. You think she is interested in doing this, or you want to check with her to see if she is?
I will check. I know she's very interested in the future of Parks and Rec. And Ken is very passionate about it. She talks to me about it often, so she may want to join the committee.
Okay. Would someone like to make a motion to form this committee with the members?
So moved.
Second, please.
Second.
Thank you. Any more discussion? Okay, all those in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed?
I'm sorry, was that Kate that seconded?
Yeah.
Don't leave her out. I just realized we don't have Diane tonight. Is she still away?
Yeah.
Let's see where we at. Okay. So we did the lifeguard instructor class, tennis clinic. Julia or Michael, would you like to talk about that? Tell us how it's going.
Sure. It was last week. We did 2 clinics, one on Tuesday, one on Thursday. From my perspective, they went really well. They were well attended. I think we had 12 or so children. And I think it showed me that we should definitely keep the programming up. And I guess another takeaway was that on Thursday it was hot at the courts. There's not a lot of shade there. So just something to think about for time of day and summer things. But overall, I thought it was really well. And yeah, Julia and Miranda were there putting it together. So I thought 3 people was enough to make it run smoothly with 6 to 8 per court.
I would echo that. I think that it went really well, and I think people were excited and happy to be there and asking if we were going to have anything else like that. So that bodes well for the USTA program in the fall.
Mm-hmm. Great job, guys.
As somebody whose child participated in it, it was wildly successful, really inspired, can't wait to do it again, and was looking to do it again this week. So we're just going to do ad hoc tennis lessons, but you really inspired a future tennis player. Thank you, Julia.
Oh, that's awesome.
Okay. Anything else on tennis? Good job. Good job. With that, we just, we don't need to talk about the tennis association one, but you guys are going to work on that and bring that forward in September.
Yeah, we're just working on identifying a coach right now. And we're working with the USTA on doing that and also putting out some feelers ourselves. I also just started doing online. You can do their safe play to be a registered volunteer. So you go through certain courses to look out for. I mean, it's mostly about just protecting the children and making sure that somebody has a background check who's there working with them. But I started doing that so that I could help out if we ever needed to sub in or extra hands.
I think it was Guy Morey. Do you know anybody know Guy Morey up at a Spirit Horse Farm? John, were you here then with I think it was his dad?
Yes. Yep.
Tried to do it?
Yep.
So I just thought of that maybe he's an older gentleman. He might be still willing to be a coach. He was, I don't know, just came to mind. I think he's still in Kent.
Yes, he is. Actually, he worked on that couple of trees that fell down on Cornwall Road where he lives there. So, yeah.
Okay. Maybe we can find him and put him in touch with you.
Sure, that'd be great.
Okay. Summer baseball, I'm guessing that never flew. Parks master plan. Anything on that? We're pretty much on hold with that at the moment.
Where did things end up? I know that at one point there was potentially funding from the town and the selectmen for that. Basically, I would love to try to have it be a part of whatever the new director is, as a part of their job description, is to make the master plan happen. I have heard from people in the community that they would be willing to raise funds. I know that there was some funds that were allocated for it. I'd also be willing to re-engage a subcommittee to continue exploring it, but I do think it should be part of a goal or the job description of the future director. And Lynn, I think it dovetails into the capital plan with the money for the playground at Kent Common, as we discussed last meeting. So I think all these things are tied together, and it would be great to get a plan.
Anything else on that?
Does anybody know where we were with I know you were at the meetings, Lynn. Do you know where we were with what the town was willing to, what we asked the town, or where we were with the money?
I don't think they approved money to us last I remember with them.
Okay, I guess I'll go back and read the meeting minutes.
Yeah, they're on YouTube too, if you can remember what month it was. Town of Kent has a channel.
A lot of time to be doing that. I would hope that something as important as this would be tracked, but I guess not.
It's your baby.
It's for the benefit of the town, and as a group and as the commissioner, I would think that you would be tracking it, but I guess not.
No, that is not something that I was tracking. That was you were working on that, and that's not something I had on my plate.
I didn't believe in it, but as our commissioner and as something that we're all working towards.
We're all commissioners.
I mean, as the chair of this commission, you take a lot of responsibility here. So
I do.
Yeah.
So I was not adding one more thing to my plate. That is something you've been working on. I do not have experience with that. So that was always your.
Have a record of what we had asked the town.
Trying to get you in.
That's all, because I know that you were at the meeting. And that's all I was asking for.
Yeah, I believe we all discussed that meeting, and they never approved funds. You can ask Chris Garrity about that. He was the one that basically.
It feels like it was at that point where they came back and told us that we needed to have a mission statement, and we kind of did that, and then we went into COVID. So that's at least my recollection, was that we were stymied by the Board of Selectmen because they wanted to make sure that we had a vision for who we were and what we were trying to do as a group.
Well, clearly we don't have that. So I guess we still have work to do before we could ask the town for money. I'll keep pursuing.
Sorry, but there is money for the playground.
Yep.
Yes, there is.
So there is some money for improving the parks. And I think, Abigail, maybe your point was just that we should make sure that the money that we do have is somehow combined with a plan for the rest of the park.
Just that we would have a plan so that when we're deciding to spend the town's money on a playground, it's been considered and it's not just putting it back where it was if that's not a wise site.
Right.
About the future Kent Common, so that if we're putting any more hard infrastructure in, we're being thoughtful about where we're putting it, because there are a lot of issues with the park as it is.
I agree.
But to do so, somebody has to study that, and that costs money.
But I agree with you, and maybe the commission, the group that is the subcommittee that's doing the hiring could put that on their list to make sure that they are discussing with potential full-time director candidates.
Great. That was another point I was trying to make there, but that's part of the job. Perfect. Thanks, Blythe.
Any questions on the budget reports? They're not fulfilled. They're not totally done yet. That's just what she had up until now. There's still some bills that come in, have to come in, that will be going towards last year's budget. Okay. 5-year capital plan, just a review that comes in. I think we do that in November, October, November. So be thinking about that. That would be a great time to put in the money for that. Okay, concert series, we have one more. Is that correct?
No, they go through to August 12th.
Oh, a few more. So every week, still looking for volunteers. They're going well. All right. After school program.
Wait, before we get off that,
Yep.
Michael, how many people have you been needing more people than have shown up? Because I know I wasn't there this week, but I was there for the first one.
We had Miranda, myself, and Diane there last time, and that was a perfect number.
Okay.
So I'll plan on keep showing up, and then I think if we have at least one other parks person, that should be enough with the land trust people.
Okay, cool.
I'll be there again.
Awesome.
Hi, Diane.
Hi, Diane.
Hi, I'm sorry, everyone. I was late on coming on.
Great that you're here.
Anything else in the concert series? Okay. After school program. Pre-K eligibility doesn't need to be on there. Morning program, we pretty much said no, we can always bring that up at another time. Survey to parents, anything on that, Miranda? Or anyone?
Nothing new.
Okay. Staffing, placing advertisements. So y'all got copies of the job openings for after school counselor.
Was that in the email from the first email from you, the second email from you, or the email from Miranda?
Well, it was in the package that I sent. It's in there. I believe it was in one of the emails Lynn had sent as well.
Cool. Thank you.
I think the only thing I was looking at is on the ASP director, the bullet point that says purchase snacks and supplies for the program as needed. It sounds like they have to purchase them. So maybe just clarifying that.
With the town account. Yeah.
I would say don't bother with that, but then on the other hand, it's outside of their 2:45 to 5:30. So they, would get paid for that extra 20 minutes, half hour, whatever. And my other question was, I was looking through camp rules today, some camp rules. And it says that like the lead has to be 21, but then you were also saying that we don't have to, I think it was at the last meeting, because we're not a licensed camp that we're run through the town, we don't really have to go by those guidelines.
Right. What rules were you looking at with like this?
The age.
Applicants must be 18. I'm sorry, through what organization are you looking?
For the after school program director.
No, I understand. I'm just wondering, were you looking like the rules were through the
through the CGA, the state rules?
Okay, so yeah, so I just was trying to clarify.
Oh, sorry,
if you were looking at something from us or
no.
Yeah, so basically, because it's run through us municipality, they're just guidelines. We're not a licensed, we're not required to have a license, so we don't necessarily have to follow those rules.
Okay, so we can stick with an 18-year-old.
Correct.
Okay. Anybody else have any anything on that? I would possibly take out the town of Kent Park and Recreation, just take out town of Kent. Anybody else have an opinion on that?
I think that like wordsmithing it during this meeting is probably not the best use of our time. I guess if it hits all the content, that's most critical. I think it reads well, Miranda. It's just if there's anything egregious in terms of like what you were saying, Lynn, about the age.
Mm-hmm. Is there anything in here for first aid? Because the nurse isn't there at these times.
Right. Yeah, there probably should be a bullet point in the directors.
Right.
About being like certified.
CPR, first aid.
Yeah. Okay.
And maybe saying that's helpful on the counselor's position.
Okay. And maybe, maybe saying something like CPR certified by the time they start the position. So if they're not already certified, they have a chance to do that.
Mm-hmm. That sounds fine with that. The other thing is that the director, it says the program meets Monday through Friday, 3 to 5:30, which is correct, but the director position should be there at least 15 minutes early.
Okay.
I don't know if we discussed that.
I mean, I can change it to 2:45. That's fine.
Well, it reads correctly because the program does meet 3 to 5:30, but they need to be there 15 minutes early. So however you want to say that, where the regular counselor can be there at 3.
Mm-hmm. And I don't know if that's just something we discuss with them. I mean, I can certainly change the wording in it to be the 2:40.
Also looking at the work schedule can be flexible. Not really.
Yeah, that one was a little, so these are mainly borrowed from ones we had before. And it said it on both the positions. I took it out of the director position. I took it out of the director position because I figured that's not flexible. The only thing I could think of for keeping it in the counselor position is that if we got like, if you had like one or, but if you have two counselors because one person couldn't work a certain day or whatever. So, you know, if you had multiple counselors and they were working different shifts, that's the only thing I could think of for leaving that in. But I mean, I can certainly take it out.
I don't want them to be hired if we just do one, because in the past we've had difficulty getting people. So if we just have the director and the counselor, they're not going to have a very flexible schedule. But this wording, they will think that they will.
Okay, well, I can change it.
Anyone else opinion on that? Or right. So can we have a motion to have the director put these out as ads and when she should do it?
I would just like to, you know, I would like to get them on as soon as possible now.
Yeah. I'll make that motion and as soon as possible. She's right.
Okay, second for that, please.
Second.
And I think that moving forward, these are the types of things that Miranda should be able to do on her own, so we don't lose time waiting for meetings.
Yeah, that's fortunately not the way it works.
I think we have to really think that through as we move forward with the next director. What's the best use of this commission in our time, considering the need for
this commission does not give a lot. Some of us do work outside of the meetings, but for the most part, this is one of the easiest commissions I have ever been on. The easiest board. We do not have a lot of activities to do outside of this meeting.
And so the amount we try to cram into this meeting and the amount of detail we get into might not really make sense for what this commission is and the amount of people that are on it. You know, we might just need to be at a higher level working.
Well, this is basically the way that every park and rec in the state runs. So that's another reason. So she's ready to put the ad out. Anything more on the review of the handbook? Last month we decided the motion was to stick with kindergarten eligibility through whatever it was, 6th grade. Is there anything more we needed to discuss on that?
I don't think so. I think we discussed it pretty thoroughly last meeting. Okay.
Slamma Jamma basketball. Anything more to report on that?
So just to clarify, I'm sorry, before we move on from that, I'd like to put the ads out, obviously, and then I'd also like, once I finalize the handbook and update the forms, I'd like to send that to KCS to send out to parents.
Great.
To start getting registered. Does that seem?
You send the handbook just out to those who've registered, not to the whole school, right? Or do you want to send it to the whole school? So they can
I think
doesn't really matter.
Yeah, to the whole school. Just so parents have that as they're getting ready for kids to go.
I think that's really logical, Miranda. And then the parents understand what the offer is and how it works. So again, like I would recommend sending it and asking the school to remind parents also when, you know, later in August, so that they see it now and then they see it again, and they may actually use it. Sometimes people need a few pangs when it comes to marketing. And so that's great.
All right. Tennis program, we already talked about that.
I have one question about Slamma Jamma. Do you have counselors for Slamma Jamma?
Yes. So it's actually run through kind of a private the Slamma Jamma runs a basketball camp.
Okay. Curious.
Do you know how many kids are signed up? Do we have enough to run it?
Yeah, so I just talked to them today and it was 21.
Nice.
Okay, great.
Awesome.
Are they open to allowing younger children to join?
So I didn't actually ask them that. I just figured maybe we would discuss it here first, and then see what what we thought. Yeah, so I haven't asked them that question yet. But you know,
Julia. I'm like, I don't know if it's something that the whole commission needs to discuss. They can certainly, but my son Will had done it when he was going into, he was going into third last year, when he was going into second grade, and really enjoyed it. He was the youngest one there then, and I have a tendency to push the age limit a little bit to get my children enrolled in things. But his Patrick is really, really wanting to go and plays a lot of basketball. So I was wondering if we could squeeze in a rising first grader, which I know would be pushing it, but I'm happy to reach out to the coach at Slamma Jamma as well too, to see if it's something that they thought they could accommodate, because maybe they'd have a better idea of equipment and counselors and appropriateness more than we would, not having gone ourselves.
Yeah, the one thing I'll say in talking to him when we were first talking about age groups is that, you know, and you and I had kind of talked about this a little bit, as them needing to bring in different portable hoops that are a little bit lower. So yeah, I guess it's just a question for them on whether they want to do that. So yeah, I can certainly reach out to them to see, you know, if they want to get more in there. But again, like as far as like equity goes, I would want to make sure we market that to, if we're going to do that, we market that to everyone.
Yeah.
As well.
Yeah, that's why I was going to suggest, I think maybe it's not a thing for Parks and Rec to get involved in. Maybe that's a question that starts with you and the coach. And if he's willing to do something like that, that should be something that we could go back in. I would hate to have it be, you know, we're asking
totally
a question and they're feeling pressured that, you know, we want them to do it versus not. It should be their rules and not necessarily ours.
Yeah, I'm happy to reach out to him as a parent.
Doesn't hurt to ask.
Yeah.
Right.
All right, cool. Well, I'm glad we got 21 people. That's awesome. I'm happy at that.
Mm-hmm. And Julie, if that doesn't work out, you can always bring a program to us. So, you know, if to maybe get started for little kids in the winter, we will have that as long as we can use Kent Center School. But if you wanted to do something for this summer, and there's some of the shorter basketball hoops inside the Kent Center School gym.
Yeah.
And I don't know if we still own those. There might.
Yes.
We do?
Yeah.
So, you know, you could always bring one or two of those outside, even if it was pickup games or something, or you know, it doesn't have to be sanctioned, but, you know, as a member resident of Kent, you could always bring that forward and try to start a program for the younger kids if they won't do something.
Awesome. Yeah.
In the community house, there's a whole bunch of small basketballs too.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, cool.
It's locked away in the treasure trove.
Okay.
Julia and Miranda, I think that's in the spirit of the, you know, skills development for the youth, along with the soccer. Maybe there's something in the tennis, like there might be something we could pull together with a variety of sports for, you know, the youngins who aren't in the more organized leagues yet.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, at that point it's just instructional, but you know, it's inside of the gym. But again, if you want to do something outside, you could use the basketball court outside and bring some of those portable short nets out and the small basketballs. Find a couple of coaches and put something together.
Yeah. I'll reach out to him. If it doesn't work out, I'm happy to throw something like that together.
Sorry, John.
I was going to say, we even have all those small soccer nets. in one of those lockers out there, in one of the units out there on the field.
Great, awesome.
All right. Anything more on the tennis program? We've pretty much covered that before. Good there. Halloween bash. I talked to David Schreiber and he said that we could use Club Getaway again if we decide to do that. I believe he asked what weekend, and I said either, you know, Halloween is on a Sunday this year. So I said either that Friday night or Saturday night, the 29th or 30th. I said, or we could go to the, you know, the weekend before, depending on his availability. And he said that, I have people that weekend. I have a full place. And I didn't know which weekend he was referring to. So he hasn't answered me on that, but the Gilmore girls, I guess, are coming back to Kent, the Gilmore girls crew party thing. And so that's what it is, but I'm not sure if he, like I said, if he meant the weekend before or Halloween weekend. So when he lets me know, I'll let you know. So, but I think it was pretty cool having it there last year. If we want to go back to the community house, we can, whatever, you know. The only thing with the trail at the club was we didn't have everything upstairs that we had before, the pizzas and the games and the pumpkin painting and all that stuff. So however we want to do that.
Lynn, the Gilmore Girls Fan Fest at Club Getaway.
Mm-hmm.
Well, actually, I thought I found a date, but I might be wrong. I think it might be the weekend before Halloween.
Before Halloween, okay. So then we could, whatever, even if it's a Halloween weekend, we can just do it the weekend before, but it, you know, again, we need to decide if we want to do it there or if we want to do it at the community house.
Are you going this year, Abigail?
Heck yes. I missed it all these years.
You really struck me as a Gilmore Girl fan follower.
Well, let me tell you something. We moved to Kent and got really into Gilmore Girls. Who knew? Something in the water.
So I said it. I thought maybe one of y'all would know.
No, I just looked it up, but
you're not seeing anything yet.
Based the dates for 2020, so I don't know if there's a mistake or what, but it's the date I found was the weekend prior to Halloween, but it says Club Getaway, so I'm assuming that there must be a typo in the year.
Where was it last year? It wasn't even in Kent, right?
No, I don't even think they held it last year. Again, I'm not.
Oh, that right, the year before.
I'm not an expert on this festival, but
Sure.
I'm in a public meeting. Oh no.
The first time town was just like, so I'm glad it's down there.
Lynn, I hear what you're saying though about Club Getaway, that it you were able to engage with anybody with pumpkins and whatnot. Mm-hmm. And I thought possibly a good way of engaging the youth in the Club Getaway is to help make props through the after school program and maybe use them in September and October and have that be part of the after school program is to create stuff for the Halloween bash.
Sure.
I just found it on the Club Getaway site. It's the 22nd to the 24th.
Okay, so all right.
You're the super fan, Blythe.
I've never seen that show.
Secret. She's coming out.
So all the better. So it sounds like it's available the Halloween weekend.
So we could always have a table set up down in the big parking lot at the entrance and like a tent where people could park after or beforehand and get out and do a few things. The possibility.
We could even have them walk through this year.
That's fun, Diane.
I can't believe we're even talking about this already again. Has it really been a year? Went fast.
So let's give ourselves a little bit more time to set up this year. So
Yeah.
not a week. So it's sounding like everybody wants to do it at Club Getaway again.
I don't have any experience with it.
If we get out of the cars, I would say get out. I mean, when you were talking about doing it at the in the town again, I think there's something nice about having a town event where everybody's just meeting each other and, you know, celebrating Halloween together and not having to be confined to their cars. So I loved Club Getaway, but if everyone could be out of their cars, that would be really nice.
You know, the other thing too is it was very dark there, and there were, you know, the Lions Club, and there were a lot of people getting up close to the cars, walking around the cars, scaring people. It can be, I mean, I think there was a couple times when it seemed there was people getting really close to the cars, and people were driving the cars and getting scared. So, I mean, you always run the risk of somebody getting hurt with the cars, but, you know, either way, it'll be great. It might be even scarier though, if the kids have to walk through. That's just my opinion, but.
So we could have everybody park at the bottom. We could have maybe a van or something walk them up the hill. And then we could have at the top, before you go through the arches, we could have a tent set up with things to do. Like the equivalent to what would have been upstairs at the community house.
Yeah.
Throw that in, throwing that out there.
I think it could probably, if it's parking and walking, you know, people may tailgate at their cars with friends. I'm not sure if we need to add any additional programming to it other than the walk, like the haunted walk. It sounds like it was really effective.
Yes, I was just trying to incorporate the party that we had upstairs with this. It's like they said, that was fun where everybody kind of congregated, and parents would have to stick around with their kids. Like, kids can't go through alone. Under 16 must be, you know, with an adult or something.
For sure.
It got crazy downstairs after a while.
And I guess we should probably follow up with your contact at Club Getaway if it changes the nature of his offer, if people are not in cars.
I doubt it. I mean, he doesn't really care, but I will check with him.
Yeah, he's pretty flexible. He's with everything. I remember he was like, whatever you want to do, whatever you want to do.
He's also super into Halloween. I'd be surprised he didn't have a Club Getaway event of his own. Remember, he was talking about all those parties he used to have. And
yes.
Yeah.
Craziness. So adult themed Halloween things. So
he's really, really nice guy for the community. He just did the Lions Club end of the year party for us, and you know, he pays for the whole thing. I guess when he bought the club, the prior owner was a Lions Club member, and that was sort of a deal he made with the old owner that he would continue to do that for the Lions Club. And he put on a really great party, and he's just a really nice guy. I think he wants to have a good relationship with the community. So very helpful.
Okay. Sorry guys, I have to put to bed little kids before it gets too late. Do we need to do any of the new business before I go? Is there anything not to interrupt the Halloween conversation, but
there's a few things coming up, but you're fine. We're almost to the end.
All right, awesome. Thank you guys. Good night.
Thank you. Good night.
Julia.
Bye.
All right, let's move on to soccer.
So as I was saying before, I have a meeting tomorrow with the other regional directors to discuss the status of the regional traveling league.
Okay.
So I'll know more tomorrow, but the things that are still hanging out there are the instructional soccer. So, and interestingly enough, I found actually on the website, I think we must have done kindergarten and first grade at some point. Because it said kindergarten and first grade on the website. And I think I found a first grade kind of form in there too. So I guess we just, need to discuss. I'd like to also send that information out to the school as well. Maybe with the ASP stuff, it's kind of a whole package of like, here's what Park and Rec has coming up. So it'd be great if we could maybe finalize what we want to offer for the instructional soccer.
I'd like to advocate for opening it up to first graders for the reason that they missed it last year. They didn't have it offered to them. And again, I've heard a lot of interest in it for first grade. I've also heard interest for pre-K. So I know people are hungry for programming for kids in this community. So I think we should try to be as inclusive as we can and not limit it just to kindergarten.
What about a kindergarten and then a first and second grade one?
I mean, like 4 to 5 year olds and then 6 to 7 year olds, something like that, divided by age.
Sure, but if we're doing, I like that 4 to 5 and 6 to 7, and let's not talk about grades.
Yeah.
Let's just use age.
Yeah,
that'd be great.
Anyone want to make a motion?
I'd like to make a motion to open up instructional skills development for the fall to two groups, 4 and 5 year olds and 6 and 7 year olds.
Can I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye, please.
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Okay, thank you. All right, we'll move on.
I'm sorry, before we move on from that, do we want to talk about, so I think in looking at the forms before, it was 5:15. We did like a 5:15 start time and it was one day a week. So do we want to, is it just going to be me picking the day, or do we want to kind of figure out what we think the best day is to do it? Should we do, 4 and 5 year olds on one day and 6 and 7 year olds on another day?
I think it would be great to get a sense of what's going to happen with tennis. Like look at if we're developing a mini sports thing for the fall, maybe we need to see what's going on with the other.
Yeah, so there was a call with the USTA, and it seems like, is Michael still here on the?
Yep.
Okay, so we had talked about Wednesday, right?
Right.
When we're talking about the fall, what dates are we talking about? Just like September, October, or is this all outside in the dark at 5:15, or where?
Yeah, it was starting starting September 11th week, depending on the day of the week, and it'll be for 6 weeks, once per week, or 3 weeks, twice per week. So I think we were thinking like a 4 o'clock start time.
And that was for tennis. Now, yeah. So for the soccer, in the past we've done it at 5:15, and I think it went to maybe 6. It wasn't like a full hour. But yeah, it was running. I want to say, let me look at the calendar.
Was that outside, Miranda?
Outside. So something like, for this year, September 9th through October 21st would, I think, well, that's 7 weeks. So I don't know, typically we do 8 weeks. I had to go back and look at that. But yeah, it was like from the beginning of September through mid-October.
Sounds good to me.
Yeah, so is it tracking with the tennis program in terms of dates, the same start and end, same amount of weeks?
Well, the tennis program is 6 weeks. So we could do 6 weeks. And that would be like, if we did it on Thursday, it would be the 11th through, I'm sorry. It would be through the 9th through the 14th. That's 6 weeks. But I don't know. So there's the second, school starts on August 30th. So I don't know if we immediately want to jump in to soccer and start it like that week. But then Labor Day is the 6th.
I think you should start it after Labor Day, that week out. Give the kids a time to settle in and then start.
Parents.
And then parents could also, if they didn't know about it yet, they have that week when the school is going to be sharing all sorts of information, so they might learn about it then.
Okay, so the week of the 6th then.
Which is what you said, 9/9.
So it's, yes, 9/9. So, but would we want to do 2? So would we do like a Tuesday and a Thursday to capture those different age groups?
I'm trying to undercomplicate it and maybe have, I don't know, trying to think of how to make it as open as possible for these people, these age groups. It might make sense to just do it on one day.
Well, so the only thing, Michelle, I'd reached out to Michelle to see what they have going on. And they're running a middle school, I think 6 through 8 program as well. And so they're going to be practicing on the fields after school every day. And then I think one of the days is a game day, but I'm assuming they'll be traveling around. So, but she couldn't tell me, she didn't know when the game days were going to be. So.
And what time are their practices?
After school, like directly after.
Mm-hmm.
Well, then how about the Tuesday, Thursday? That sounds like a great idea.
Tuesday, Thursday, or 5 and 6 or 4 and 5 year olds at 5:15 to 6, and then the 6 and 7 year olds from 6 to 6:45 or 7.
I think we can't do that because it's going to get too dark.
Well, by October, it's going to be real dark at that point.
New skills.
Skills from 5:15 to 6 or 5 to 6 or 5.
Yeah, so yeah, 5:15 to 6, Tuesday and Thursday then, is that what we're?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and it's probably arbitrary which one goes on which days at this point.
Yeah, I would think so. We have to find people, volunteers to do the coaching.
And I can start when I put the forms out, I'll start gathering that information. There's a spot you can check if you're interested in coaching. So I will start getting that information.
Awesome.
We need a motion.
I make a motion to offer skills development Tuesdays and Thursdays for 6 weeks, starting the week of September 9th, for groups of 4 and 5 year olds and groups of 6 and 7 year olds.
Can I have a second? I'm sorry.
Oh, I was going to say for Miranda to do a write-up on that and send it to Kent Center School.
Have a second, please?
Second,
Diane.
Diane.
Thank you. All those in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed? Great. All right, so down to new business, Tai Chi class.
Yeah, so I received, I had been communicating with the guy, his name is Chris, and he has done some Tai Chi and martial arts classes with us before COVID, and he had expressed interest in starting them back up again. He was wanting to use the community house. He says he's got groups ready to go, and we just would need to really kind of sign off on that. The only kind of complicated bit in this is that it's indoors. The whole, the practice of Tai Chi, I don't know that much about it, but it's kind of a, a breathing thing. And so he was hesitant, he can't really enforce the mask. Right now, there's the mandate through the public health is people who are unvaccinated need to wear masks in public. That's what the Torrington Public Health, and is just following the CDC guidelines. So I just wanted to throw that out there as far as how we want to handle that. If we want to run this program with that information, that's kind of up for discussion.
Did we do some sort of Tai Chi program a couple of years ago? And if I recall correctly, it was really well attended.
I think we've done it before. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, we have, and it seems like it is, and it's a good activity for everyone. But I think it attracts some seniors and people who are maybe not looking for a high intensity workout.
I'm just trying to think of in Chinatown, when I would ride my bike in the mornings, I feel like they were out doing Tai Chi no matter what weather it was. Not to say that our community would be the same, but maybe there's a way of offering it so it can be outside as often as possible with an inside adjacent. And then with
and I didn't, I kind of figured that if he wanted to do it outside, there's not really anything stopping him. So, he must want the community house for some, I don't know what his reasoning is there, but he seems to want to do it there.
And there was an event I saw recently at the library, and it was, to attend it, you had to be vaccinated. I think it was a lecture. So I don't know if that's something we are doing, is happening, is becoming the norm. Otherwise, yeah.
Well, I can speak from the point of view of the three independent schools in town. All of us are mandating the vaccine for employees and students for the fall. I would say, it's probably, based on, I think, the American Academy of Pediatrics, as much as it may not apply to this, came out today and said that all students and faculty should be wearing masks inside schools at all times. Whether that's somebody that you want to go with, I don't know, but I think the state of Connecticut and the Torrington Area Public Health District may have guidance that would take precedent no matter what. And I think there would have to be, we would need to assume a certain amount of distance between people. And so there would have to be a limit on how many people could apply. And again, where it gets dicey is whether or not this instructor wants to say that his class is only for vaccinated people, or that everyone will wear masks, or whether Kent Park and Rec wants to say that. And it's a very different question depending on who is making that determination. If we sponsor him, allow him to advertise with us, and we advertise it, but it's his class, and he makes those decisions rather than Park and Rec makes those decisions. Unless we're willing to make those decisions, and they're hard decisions to make. And they're all completely contingent upon what's going on in the town and in the area, and what the governor says, and what the Torrington Area Health Department says, and what the state says.
Yeah, well, I think we've gone through, we went through a lot with the concert series last year, and I think that as a town service, we have to go with what the town is doing, whereby what the state is doing. I wonder if there is a limitation to who can be there based on vaccines. Going back to where you were in the beginning, Miranda, with the virtual group classes, if this is something that could be offered in person to a degree, but also virtually, so people could do it at their home and still be taught by him. And like their donation for that or something like that. I know people do it a lot with yoga.
Yeah, I think, the issue is that nothing is really enforceable. So everything is kind of on the honor system right now. And so you almost, even if you had a virtual option, there's still, you could still have someone who's there not wearing a mask and maybe is unvaccinated. And that's, so I don't know. You almost need some sort of waiver making it clear that we can't, we can't enforce the mandate if we're going to go that route. I don't know. It's almost too complicated.
Well, yeah, this is the bummer of living during a pandemic.
Yeah.
Public programs.
Well, and again, is it has this person indicated to you what his preference is?
He seems, he's not going to enforce anything. He's there to teach Tai Chi. And, he wants, and I get it. It's an exercise where you're practicing breathing. And so I understand where he's coming from. But yeah, he's not there to enforce COVID rules, I don't think. And that's just how that's going. And I think they were going to do it at St. Andrews, but something fell through there. So I don't know, it's a tough call.
Well, would we be worried about blowback if we just said something like, look, the way he advertises it is, this is, everybody, all the participants need to understand that we're not going to require masks, and we're not going to require people to be vaccinated, and you may choose to wear a mask if you want to, but understand if you're coming to class, you're doing it possibly with, are we getting into waiver territory and liability that we would be concerned about, allowing them the use of a town space for something like that?
Yeah, because then they run the risk of infecting somebody else.
No, they don't.
Well, I know. Listen, Lynn, don't even. I know. But that's where we. I mean,
You just
do it at your own risk. I think is perfectly fine. But then, as a town sponsored event, we can't, I don't think, sponsor something that could risk other members of the community at this until further notice.
I agree with you because we're a town entity. If we were a nonprofit, just doing our thing. That's why I always say, you know, what does the selectmen say? What's the selectmen's call on this? Because ultimately,
Lynn, I see what I agree with you. But I feel like
I think we let the guy run his class and let people be adults and make their own decisions. This isn't a kid, you know, people know the drill. If they want to have the shot, get the shot. If you don't want to have the shot, don't get the shot. You want to wear a mask, wear a mask. You don't want to wear a mask, don't wear a mask. Nobody's going to get infected from another person. That's not how this works.
Well,
that's,
I think but liability wise,
people do
all this aside,
liability.
It's like anything else, but it's liability.
They are guidelines. They are not rules. They are not laws. And there is no liability. There's no way in hell somebody could prove that they got sick from somebody else. First of all, that's not the way vaccines work. Oh, dear Lord.
I just think that, to Kate's point, we're setting a precedent, and I don't know if it's our precedent to set.
I think we'd have to defer to the selectmen on this one.
It has nothing to do with the selectmen.
Or the governor then, or the freaking president.
It has nothing to do with the governor. Let the man run his class.
Is this something we're making a decision about? Shall we be making a call here on whether or not we're doing this?
Yes.
So do you want to make a motion, Lynn?
Sure, I'll make a motion that we let the Tai Chi class begin at the community house as soon as the community house is available. And as soon as he's ready, whenever he's ready. So is there a second?
I second it.
Any more discussion? All those in favor? The aye, please. Those opposed?
Aye.
Opposed.
I will say that I'm working at the health department now in vaccination outreach, and there's no, you can't sue someone for well, you can sue someone for anything you want, but nothing's ever going to become of it. And I sort of agree that if the parents don't want their kids doing this, they just won't sign them up for it. They have you know, right to make that decision themselves.
This is adults or is this kids?
Adults.
Or yeah, I mean, if you don't want to do something, you don't have to do it. If you are worried about getting COVID and you haven't been vaccinated, then you don't do it.
No, Diane, I think we all are in agreement with that. I think the only sticking point is because we are a government group. And that's I always wonder if our hands are tied because we are it's a town sponsored event. That's my only thing. I am so on the same page with all of you. Yeah. I just wonder if our hands are tied.
And I agree with you, Kate. You know, I think that if we weren't the town of Kent's Park and Rec, and we weren't tied to the town, and the town wasn't tied to the state, then we could offer this program and not think anything about it, because people can choose what they want to do when it comes to masks and vaccines. But because we're representing the town, I think it's a setting a precedent that's larger than what I think we here are able to do when it comes to this type of event.
that's where my hesitancy to jump on board here comes. I feel like, you know, if you're 18 or over, you can make your own decisions, but I worry about our group making a decision that then may or may not be reflected by other town organizations that are offering or sponsoring and making their own decisions. I don't understand why the selectman's office could not get involved in helping us with some guidance here, either by saying anybody can sponsor anything they want and there's no problem, or, you know, it's like if you're in the student government and the 5th grade votes for something, but then the 6th grade votes for something else and nobody has any guidance, what are you doing? I mean, if I feel like I would feel better if the town leadership would say to us, this is okay, you don't have any, we have no problem, and this is going to be the information that we provide to any other organization that represents the town that's sponsoring activities. I don't know.
I agree with you, Blythe.
You know, is it worth just reaching out to Jean and saying, you know, Jean, here's where we are. We'd like to do this, but we don't know if we have the, I mean, I guess, yes, we have the authority, but we don't know if we want to just exert our decision-making capability in the absence of guidance from the town or the state.
I would guess she's going to say what happens at the town hall. You can't question it. You can't ask somebody if they're vaccinated.
Yeah.
So you can make a paper or a waiver that says if you're vaccinated, you can, you don't have to wear a mask inside. If you're not if you didn't get the shot, then you have to wear one, but we're not going to question it. We don't ask for.
Well, and again, I would let's turn it on its ear here. Let's say that the guy said he wanted to do this class, but he only wanted to do it for people who were vaccinated, and he wanted us to promote that. I would have hesitancy doing that as well. Is that legal? If you can't ask, I mean, where is the town on that? Are we going to restrict? There are different ways to look at it in terms of, do we feel comfortable making a decision in the absence of that kind of guidance one way or the other? And I just don't. It's the reason I took a lot of decisions here at the school up to the board level. There were things that were beyond, I felt, certain decisions I could make as the head of a school, and decisions that I needed other people to help to weigh in on before I made those decisions.
Is the Ken Center School mandating masks for the youngins?
I don't know what the public school's doing. I just know
that's what it sounds like. I think things change day by day, but it sounds like that's the direction it's going.
Right now, the active summer school session for Kent Center School requires masks for both adults and for kids.
Mm-hmm. I think, if we kind of, like as Lynn was saying, a way to do this would be to just make a statement saying masks are required if you were unvaccinated, but we have no way to enforce that, and so whoever is participating in this, to just be aware of that. I don't know. I mean, obviously,
I really think we need to get guidance from the selectmen on this, because it's really going to now be what we're going to do for all programming moving forward that's indoors. And I think we need to hear from Jean and Chris and Matt, or I'm sorry, Ed, what their take is on this, because I don't think it's our call to start figuring this out, because whatever we do will set the precedent for the rest of the town or for Parks and Rec around us.
Mm-hmm. Well, I'm happy to get in touch with Jean and see how they want to handle situations like that.
I would love to hear what she has to say. I mean, we have a little time, don't we? I mean, when does he want to?
I mean, he's got groups ready, so he says, so anytime, but.
Well, maybe we could find out, and if we needed to, we could just do a special meeting once you find out what the deal is, then we can make a decision.
I think
I'd love for that to be like not just hearsay, but something that we get written from the selectmen, so we have it and it's like concrete and we can use it as guidance moving forward.
Okay.
I would like to be in on that meeting with Jean.
Okay.
How about
okay.
you, if it's happening, why don't you let us all know? So if anyone else wants to be in on it, we can join as well.
And then it becomes a meeting.
Well, then maybe it becomes a meeting.
Fair enough. Just saying.
I think that is a good way that Miranda suggested, that we suggest to the selectmen that we do it. We just tell them that it's open for people that are vaccinated, and if not, you have to wear a mask. We're not the only ones in this situation.
So Diane, is what you're saying when Miranda reaches out to Jean to ask for guidance, she communicates to Jean that our preference would be to offer the program?
To offer the program, yeah, the way she said it, and where, you have to, it's open to those who are vaccinated, and if they're not vaccinated, they can take the class, but they have to wear a mask. And I think it's almost implied that we can't enforce that because it's the same situation all over the country. But if I can understand the committee wanting to get approval from the selectmen on it, I just hope that she approves it.
Me too.
I think she tends to err on the side of caution, which is good, of course, but it'd be nice if we can get some programs going.
She doesn't approve or unapprove it.
Oh, she just makes a suggestion. She just makes a suggestion.
We're looking for her guidance.
Yeah. That's a good idea.
All right, so we're on hold till we talk to Jean or the selectmen. So we'll move on to the mountain bike camp.
Yeah, so this is like a fun one after that. So someone had reached out to me about their son had participated in a mountain bike camp in Ridgefield. And she was saying that it was great and she would love it if we could get something going here. And so I had reached out to the company to get a little bit more information about what they do. And they seems like a great company. They're really well organized. And at the very end of that package that I sent to you guys, there was just a little bit about what they do. And so they would be looking at, hopefully, if we partnered with them, running the camp. And he was saying, ideally to get it going 3 to 4 weeks. And you could do a mix of different things like intermediate, advanced, little kids, big kids, however you wanted to do it. But he would like to have 3 to 4 weeks because they bring in the counselors. They would be staying in the area. And so that's, you know, the best economically way that they can run that. And then, so we would need to partner, we'd probably be partnering with the Kent School again. They have mountain bike trails. And a lot of it too, if it's beginner, I don't think they're going to be going up and down like the really heavy duty trails. Would be more of like skills and a lot of just field work. But it seemed like kind of a fun thing we could offer, something different, and something we haven't done before. So I thought, yeah, I mean, so in basic pricing, he gave me a ballpark of $260 per kid. And that is, so it's like, I think 3 to 4 hours in a 4-day a week. So it's a little more expensive. So I guess, you know, in discussion, maybe we look at possible scholarships for that. Again, we obviously this wouldn't be happening until next summer, but in talking with the company, they said they'd like to basically know this summer what they're doing next summer so that they can make sure that they have all the staff that they need in place. So I told him I would bring it to this meeting to see what we think about that. And if we think we want to go for it, then I can tell him, yeah, we're gonna try to put something together.
Sorry, my mind was going a lot of places while you were just sharing that. Is the idea that we'd be offering this summer, or is this something that's
next summer?
Next summer, okay. It's like, it's too fast.
Yeah.
Summer.
So he was saying he would like to know their staffing needs by the end of this summer for next summer.
Is there any way that he could join one of our meetings and we could like ask him some questions?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm sure.
That's a great idea.
Sure. Yeah.
We do that a lot.
Because I think it would be really awesome if we could collect our questions ahead of the meeting and just maybe know what they are. Because I think just having him for us to ask questions would probably help us move forward with knowing what we'd want to do, or at least get a lot clearer rather than you going back to him.
Mm-hmm.
Or maybe just again, for us to be able to think about it, like maybe you could collect our questions and give it back to all of us so we know what the questions are, and then invite him so we're organized when he comes and joins our meeting.
Mm-hmm. I mean, would you guys be willing to do, like, if I get him, would you be willing to do a special meeting for it? Or I just, if we wait until August and then you guys, if you want to mull it over after that, then we're looking at September. And I just want to make sure we have enough time to make sure we get on something we want to do, we can get on his calendar.
But this is for next summer.
Next summer.
Yeah.
It seems like it would be relatively cut and dry. I mean, this is a day thing, right? It's not an overnight camp.
Right.
And you can do, 1 week for this kind of kid and 1 week for this kind. I mean, if he gets 15, 13-year-olds who want to do it for a couple weeks, maybe he knows he can do 2 weeks worth of middle school and 1 week of high school. I mean, that's really all he's trying to figure out, right?
Yeah,
space to gather here, but then obviously they're not gonna just be in town. They're gonna go off, I would imagine.
Well, it depends on counselors where they're from and where they're staying. I think he brings in counselors from, various spots in the state and around. I don't know exactly if they'd be staying here or if they'd be going back home. It depends on availability.
Gotcha.
Also be aware that if we add our 10% to this, that brings the class up to 286.
Right.
And it's a full day camp?
No.
No.
So he was saying like 3 to 4 hours a day.
So that's about $75.
$65, yeah.
Um,
Brings it out to $16 an hour.
And then I guess I would also wonder if the Kent school would be charging us.
That, yeah, so I can reach out to them to see what that partnership looks like.
It sounds like an awesome program. It seems a little steep in terms of the cost. I think that it's really advantageous for him to have this program in our town. So maybe there's something we could get a little break, because it's a little pricey. It seems for a half day with our markup, just gut reaction.
Mm-hmm.
There's my sons used to do BMX racing, and they came home with tons of trophies. But even one of my boys went to nationals. So there's like 4 tracks in our area. We'll probably reach out to one of them in Bethel and ask them if they can offer a program similar at a cheaper price.
This is mountain biking though, not BMXing.
Well, yeah, basically, yeah.
But Kent School has awesome mountain biking trails over on Scotticoke.
All right, yes.
Yeah, I think it would be really advantageous for him because of the asset that the Kent schools created with their mountain biking trails. So maybe we can leverage that and get it down a little bit. I think it just these are all questions that we could ask him too. You don't have to be the one person poking.
Mm-hmm.
That sounds like a really exciting camp. It'd be another great way to use the Kent School resources if they'd like to share.
I like the idea of him coming to our next meeting. I know you said that by September it's late. It's if this is for next summer and he's looking to make sure he knows what kind of staffing to get, I think September still leaves him quite a bit of time to find the proper staffing. And if he comes to the August meeting, we can take those, after he leaves, we can discuss it. After his presentation, we can discuss it then. We can discuss it at our next meeting. But in the meantime, we can, after we hear him, we can make a decision to get an idea if people are interested.
Miranda, do you think, if we're going to need to have a special meeting to do a final vote on the Tai Chi class, maybe we could do both at the same time? Any interest?
Yeah, certainly if I can arrange that, yeah.
The Tai Chi we want to get done sooner, don't we? Basically, that's a go, depending on guidance by the town.
If we have to reconvene a special meeting for that, and we hear what Jean has to say, we vote on that, we discuss and vote on it, and then maybe the guy joins us for the first part.
Have him join us. Gotcha.
He could join us for that part of the meeting. We could ask our questions then. And then we could make decisions on both programs in time for him to, get his responses by August, which he was looking for, and for us to make quick decisions on the Tai Chi for starting as soon as possible, if that's what's going to happen.
Okay. Well, I can certainly reach out to him and see what he can work for his schedule for somebody to be there. And then I'll touch base with Jean tomorrow so we can get it figured out. Hopefully it's, a simple something.
Yeah. I'll be in town tomorrow, so just let me know.
Okay.
All right. I like that idea of inviting him to our next meeting, whether it's a special meeting or at our regular meeting. I think is a good idea. We actually, just so you know, we do that a lot. We've done that a lot, invite the person to the meeting.
Okay.
All right, terrific. Last thing is Camp Kent at the club. So David talked to me about this before, and I brought this up before. I got a little bit more details, just a couple more details from him. If we wanted to invite up to 20 kids, to Club Getaway, we would have to provide counselors. So say 2 counselors. And he would give us one of his people as a chaperone. And, you know, the counselors would be for the kids would be under their charge. But the chaperone would lead them and show them the whole park and help them do all the activities. It would be just, they would have, you know, they would be allowed to do everything that the regular campers do. And the campus is big over there. There's so much fun things to do. So just wanted to run that by everybody. If we wanted to do it, if we could find counselors quickly, we could do 2 or 3 weeks of camp.
I just have a screaming baby, so I couldn't hear what you were saying. But it sounded like positive news from Camp Getaway about summer camp.
So yes, David is willing to let us have up to 20 kids for day camp, not sleepover, with 2 to 3, I said 2 counselors. And he would provide a chaperone for that group of kids, and they could enjoy, you know, I don't know hours, I don't know price, but he's been very great and accommodating, as you've heard. So if it's something you would like me to look into further, and we can start looking for a couple counselors, we can advertise for counselors. I'll get pricing and we can go from there, or drop it. Either way, let me know.
The hard one for me, because it's, you know, halfway through the season, but it's also like an insanely great opportunity if we could take it, if this is something that he's willing to do, maybe this is going to be something we could offer again next year. And how amazing would it be to use those resources?
It depends on the crowds that he has there. He doesn't have his normal crowds there this year again. So that would depend on how open things were. But yes, possibly. Camp Kent does go down there, I think 1 day a week. Some of the weeks, I can't remember if it was all the weeks or some of the weeks, but they do spend a day or so down at the club every year.
I'd say, if, you know, it certainly is something to offer. There might be people in town who would be really, really excited about that. So I would definitely vote for looking further into this and seeing if we can get something out quickly. I mean, you start in the summer is dwindling.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Like I said, even if we do a couple of weeks, and I know that
something like that, it's fine.
My kid doesn't have camp he doesn't start school till the middle of September, and he's got no camp, although we're away some of the time. But, you know, you have homeschoolers that don't go back. You have kids who are in private schools or whatever that don't start at the end of August. I don't know. Would you like to put that in a motion, Blythe?
Sure. Motion to allow Lynn to reach out to get details about a possible summer camp for at Club Getaway in August.
Thank you. Can I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Kate. All those in favor say aye, please.
Aye.
Any opposed?
I'm gonna abstain because I couldn't hear it because I had some kids waking up. Sorry.
Not a problem. All right. The motion carries. Thank you very much. Is there anything else? Anyone?
I've got just one other thing real quick. I had Megan Sokolnicki reached out to me. She worked for the Kent School, and she asked if we would be interested in having some of her students come over and volunteer with the after school program again.
And who is that asked you that?
Megan Sokolnicki.
Yes, we've dealt with Megan before. She's great.
Is that part of their
community service
curriculum? Yeah. And yeah, we can talk to her. Anybody have any thoughts on that? Do we need more help at ASP?
I don't know. I mean, on days when they're full, probably. If they have 16, I think we're capping it at 16. If it's two people for 16, then I'm sure 1 or 2 extra people wouldn't hurt. And it's,
like we don't have to pay them, it's just volunteer time.
Right. And it's kind of nice to have different people in there, I guess.
Mm-hmm. As long as there's enough for them to do. I mean,
and the new director wants them there. No issues for me.
I think that's something that might have to, I think it's a good idea. I'm for it. Might have to wait a little while, especially since we'll have new people coming in and let them get organized and situated. And
yeah.
See how many kids we got coming in this year. But I think we could probably use them at some point.
Okay, yeah, I don't know. Obviously I wasn't around for when they were using them. John, do you know if they were just on a regular basis? They came every day, or if it was
they came every I think it was Tuesday or Thursday. They came every Tuesday or Thursday, and she'd split up the groups around town. And I usually ended up with about 3 or 4 kids helping me in the parks. And all the others went to different other places, different schools. So it was great. It was a fantastic experience. It's a gift horse. I mean, you could rotate people out. I mean, some people might take a couple of days off and could use them. So who knows?
Yeah. I mean, is that something we think we could use in the parks again? Should I ask her about that?
Yeah, I mean, ask her. I mean, see what she wants to do with it. I mean, because the parks could use it. I'm not there, unfortunately, but yeah, definitely.
Well, if Catherine Backrack's gonna donate plants, we'll need someone to plant them.
True.
I mean, the program that she has is fantastic. I love those kids. I mean, they were fantastic. I mean, they got the shovels out. They started doing the work, and they were done within 1 hour, 2 hours, whatever it was. So I would highly recommend her.
Using in a different area.
Yeah, I mean, the kids are smart. They know what they're doing, and if they want to do child work, that's fine.
Okay. Well,
like I said, you can rotate those kids, the other counselors out 1 day a week, something like that.
Yeah. Well, I will keep talking with her, and whatever comes out of it, I guess I'll bring it back to the next meeting or soon, whenever it makes sense. And then should I guess I'll reach back out to Catherine Backrack and about the plans. Do we want to try to set something up for that?
Is there room in the community, in the memory garden?
I mean, it could be cleaned up a little bit. Yes. I mean, I haven't been down there. Diane, have you been down there lately?
The memory garden has been all weeded, but it needs mulch.
Okay.
And it probably needs to be cleaned up a little more.
All right. So your eyes are better than mine. Mine are too far away.
Yeah.
I think, Diane, you missed, I was saying that Catherine Backrack had emailed me. She potentially has some plants. They're going to Templeton Farms. They're going to kind of cut some things back. And she said she might have some plants if we wanted them for the.
Yeah, that's great.
Is Catherine part of the garden club? Or is she doing it for the?
You know, she didn't say. She said she. I think she said she knew some people.
I'd still like to reach out to the garden club to see if they would kind of take that over.
Says I'm sure I can use the garden club network to get rid of them if we don't want them. So
okay. All right.
Diane, all the stuff that you're sending us is really helpful. And I think there's a lot of guidance in it. So.
Oh, good. Yeah. I mean, I don't think there's any reason why Jean should, suggest that we don't do that, because everything's, as of June 1st, everything's open in Connecticut. There's just guidelines as to, wearing a mask if you're not vaccinated.
Yeah. Yeah, it says businesses and state and local government offices have the option to require masks to be worn by everyone in their establishments. So I think that's the thing there, is does our local government want to have masks required in their establishment?
Right.
What I was looking at.
The local government has a little bit of leeway to do what they want to do.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was looking a little further down. There's something about the owner or operator's preference may be to exercise caution in protecting health without needing to keep people appropriately distanced or needing to determine whether or not a person is vaccinated. So I guess it's preference.
Yeah. So it's.
And I'm sorry, it was my understanding that this gentleman does not want to require masks, right? Because of the breathing of the exercise. That's what I was.
Yeah. So yes, that's the impression that I get. And he's just not comfortable asking people, and he really shouldn't be, it's not his.
So that, I think that's the sticking point. And otherwise, I think all this stuff shows that we should absolutely allow it. Absolutely. But if he doesn't.
Yeah. Well,
take a look too at the, business owners and event operators should consider requiring customers to wear a mask when they are inside an establishment or at an indoor event or private gathering if the space is not designed for continuous social distancing. So I think, to me, it's almost like you just don't want people on top of each other. I think we would.
Yeah. And let me try to get a better feel for how many he's got in each class.
Yeah.
And what,
and if he'll say, if you're unvaccinated, I need you to wear a mask. If he's comfortable, right? And then it's fine.
Yeah.
But I think, I see you shaking your head, Lynn, but I think if you're well, whatever. I don't know. I think as if the government is requiring masks for children or in the town hall, if you're unvaccinated, if the government is requiring a mask, if you're unvaccinated, then something that we are sanctioning, we have to require masks if you're unvaccinated as well.
Right, and I will just say this, that people are required to wear masks in town hall, but it's not something that we can enforce. So it's
right. Nobody's going to enforce. I'm just saying, if he's comfortable saying that, of course it's fine. I thought the sticking point was that he did not want to have anybody wearing masks because of the breathing nature of his lessons. I'm really tired. I'm not making any sense anymore. So I'm going to stop talking.
Stick with the plan that we had originally had for the Tai Chi. I just wanted to bring it to everyone's attention that Diane had posted some great resources that are worth looking at, and Miranda, probably worth, if Jean hasn't seen them, I'm sure she has, but hey, we've all seen these things. I would just like to ask for our next meeting, the August one. I know it seems early, but maybe we start thinking about winter programming at that meeting, because of the Learn to Skate, and also we like to offer the open skate, and love to have a school want to host us.
Yeah, go for it. I think there's a basketball program run through KCS that we should start looking at.
Yep, that would be great. Sounds awesome.
Sorry, I was muted. If we're all set, then we'll adjourn at 9:49. Our next meeting is August 16th. Thank you all very much. Have a good night.
Thank you. Good night.
Thank you.